How many of you would like to help a lot of people?
Yeah.
Thank you. And how many of you would like to make a lot of money helping a lot of people? Thank you. You've come to the right place. All right. What was that called? Those first two questions in your introductions are called your what? I can't hear you. Tell somebody else what they're called, please. My name is Harv Eker. First thing I want to do is I want to acknowledge you for being here. There's a saying that says 80% of success is just what? Yeah. I appreciate your taking the time to be here, and I promise we will do everything in our power to make certain that your time here is well spent. Fair enough? That's called your what? Your acknowledgement. What's it called? Acknowledgement. And who are you acknowledging? You're acknowledging the audience. Now, anytime I do any type of seminars or speaking engagements, I have two rules. How many rules? Two. The first rule is what? Don't believe a word I say. Now, why would I suggest that? That's right. Whose experience can I come from? Just my experience. It doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it false. It doesn't make it right, and it doesn't make it wrong. It just makes it my experience. All I can let you know, however, is that the information you're about to learn here totally transformed my career and has now transformed the careers of literally thousands of other people. And if you learn it, and more importantly, you what? You use it. I believe it can help transform your life too. So, all I can ask of you is, would you be willing to be open? What's the word? Open. And try the material out in whose life? Mine. And whatever works for you, keep on what? Doing. And whatever doesn't work, you're welcome to what? As for rule number 2. How many like to get the most out of the seminar? How many like to learn faster? How many to remember more of what you learn? Research shows the key to that is what? Who can tell me? Involvement, participation. Who's the first person to say that? Huh? You were. There you go. Give him a big round of applause. Nice job. Very good. So how many know us to ask a lot of questions? Yes or no? Yes. What do questions do? Questions hook the mind. What do questions do? And keep you what? Involved, engaged, yes. Also, you notice that sometimes I leave the last word off the end of my sentence and your mind just fills in the... You guys are good. And then sometimes I'll ask you to write things down, and sometimes I'll ask you to repeat things. To what? Why would I ask you to repeat things? Absolutely. First of all, to participate, involvement, engaging, yes. Secondly, isn't it true that if I say something, it means one thing? But if you say it, it means everything. True or true? Excellent, good. Since we're going to spend next to the while together, is it okay if I tell you just a little bit about myself? Yes. Notice I asked what? I asked permission. I just didn't go, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I asked your what? Thank you. I guess my claim to fame is that I own at least a dozen different businesses before I hit the age of 30. Included in one of those businesses was opening one of the first retail fitness stores in all of North America. The interesting thing about that company is that I started that business with $2,000. How much? $2,000. That I borrowed on my Visa card. From there, I was able to open 10, how many? 10 company-owned locations in only 2.5 years. And then I sold half my company's shares to the H.J. Heinz Corporation for $1.6 million. How many wouldn't mind starting with a $2,000 credit card loan and turning that into $1.5 million in a couple of years? Okay, that question was called a what? A relating question. What's it called, please? Relating question. Tell somebody else what it's called, please. Relating questions. What does that mean? It's very obvious. What does that mean? Because if I'm going to be talking about me, me, and me, what are you going to be doing? You're going to be sleeping. Understand? I can't hear you. Yes. I can't hear you. Yes. Thank you. That's called what? Demand a response. Thank you. So, every time you make every few sentences, if you're talking about yourself, you're going to have to ask a what kind of question? I can't hear you at all. A relating question to keep them what? Involved and engaged. Because you don't care about me, you only care about, me. Sure, right? All right. So after that, I kind of semi-retired. I moved to sunny San Diego. I started doing some writing and consulting, and I guess it was pretty good because it kept growing and growing and growing. And finally, someone suggested I open up a school already, and I did. I opened up the Street Smart Business School, and I taught thousands of people all across North America Street Smart business strategies. What kind of strategies? Business strategies for high-speed success. What kind of success, please? High-speed success. Thank you. A few years ago, we ran a camp called Life Directions. What was it called, please? Life Directions. And as people were getting their missions and their visions together, I was listening to them expound these, and I noticed that at least half, at some form or another, wanted their mission or their vision to be in some form training or teaching. And I didn't know this would happen. I never even thought of it. And this program never existed. And I was just watching in shock, actually, as one after the other kept saying they want to train, they want to teach, they want to be a speaker, whatever it was. And I'm saying that to Gail at the time and going, oh my God, 98% of these people are going to fail at this. This is sad because I know what this business is like. And so with a lot of deliberation, in fact, there was no room in the schedule whatsoever, but we created the room because I felt it was my duty and my dharma, that if I had something to share in this arena with people who had given me their trust in helping them not only find their missions but create their vision, that I owed it to them to at least assist them in what they wanted to do. Does that make any sense? Yeah. And so we decided to create this program because for the past 12 years prior to this, I had not only been in the business and done well, but done one of the only people who've done extremely well from day one. From day one. Raise your hand if you wouldn't mind doing extremely well from day one. And that's a big difference than ramping up for 6 years and hopefully being able to make it. Because the problem is, this business, if you don't have the knowledge of this business and you don't understand how to do this business, most people will fail at it. It's just, you know what? This business is as close as I can think of as the acting business as I know. Because in the acting business, you hear of like 30 or 40 actors, true or true. They have all the acting jobs that are worth having, yes or no? And they make, did you know that 30 actors make 96% of all the money in acting? Of all the money. 30 actors make 96% of all of the money paid to actors. All right, this business is like that. There's a handful of people who make it big. Some people make it moderate, and almost everybody else doesn't make it at all. Not because they don't have a good heart, but because they don't have the knowledge and experience and understanding of some of the real street smart behind the scenes of what goes on in this business, both from the training end and the presentation end and the design end and from the marketing end. Does that make any sense at all? Yes. So we decided that we would put together this program. We did so. All I can let you know is it was a phenomenal success from day one. People could not believe what they learned, how quickly they learned. That's how this program came about. Are there any major questions about my background? Now, what was all that about? That's called your what? That's called your ETR. What's it called, please? ETR. Stands for what? Earn the right. I can't hear you at all, please. Earn the right. That's called earning the right. Now, again, for those of you who are in the training arena already, I'm going to ask you to utilize the best of what you've got, of course, but for this training, I'm going to ask you to forget about what you do and do it this way. Do it our way. Which way? Our way. This way here. Because you already know your way. Yes? You already know how to do that, and you'd probably do it pretty well. You didn't have to pay a lot of money to do that. Got it? And those of you who are new to training or speaking or think of it as a possibility, raise your hand. You will be, I promise you, better than 90% of the speakers and trainers out there. 90%. Not that you're going to be that great. It's just that they're that bad. Because they don't have the understanding of what the training is all about. You understand what I'm saying? And you'll see it in action. We're going to break it down for you. Each piece, you're going to drill each piece, each major piece. You're going to learn some major tools here that if you just use these tools, your training will be dramatically different than everybody else's. And it will show. Does that make sense? Yes. Hello? Yes. Thank you. All right. How many would like to know what our objectives are you for this week? Yes? Yes. Number one, for you to recognize that you have very important knowledge. What's the word? And experience to share. What's the word? Share. To share with others. Number two, for you to increase your confidence and your charisma. Raise your hand if you'd like to have that one. Good. Number three, for you to become an excellent course or talk designer or creator. Raise your hand if you'd like to have that one. Number 4, for you to become a powerful presenter. Raise your hand if you'd like to do that. And number 5, for you to be able to earn a lot of money in this business, part-time or full-time. Raise your hand if you wouldn't buy that one. How many wouldn't mind if all of these came true for you? Anybody not? All right. All right, very good. What was that called? That whole section was called what? We call that a WIFM, W-I-I-F-M. What's in it for me? What's the words? What's in it for me? So basically, it doesn't matter what that I'm talking about this program, yada yada. You've got to know what, very specifically, what's in it for. Right, at some point in time in the introduction, as part of the introduction. Now, sometimes that what we call the WIFM can come before the ETR, and sometimes it comes after, and you'll be able to choose that. Does that make any sense? Yeah. All right. So how many of you are willing to make these objectives your intentions? We'll give them some energy by making them our declarations. Let's repeat them, and let's put our hand on our heart so they can feel the vibration. Feel the what? Vibration. And move into this energy. Are you ready? All together, nice and loud. I have important knowledge and experience to share.
I add value to people's lives. I am confident and charismatic. I am an excellent program designer. I am a powerful presenter. I earn a fortune teaching what I love.
Give somebody a high five and say, you're an awesome trainer. Earlier, I referred to the objectives of learning faster and remembering more, yes?
Yes.
So, the methodology that we use is called accelerated learning. What's it called, please?
Accelerated learning.
Another word for that is super learning. What's the other word?
Super learning.
Super learning. It's a methodology used by a few strong people in this arena and not many. Now, one of the first critical elements of accelerated learning is this word right here. What's the word, please? Environment. One more time. Environment. So the object of the environment is going to be to activate your whole brain. What brain?
Whole brain.
How many of you will feel you'd be a lot smarter if you were using your whole brain instead of part of your brain? Okay? So how many people recognize that if part of that brain is sleeping, that you're not going to be as smart? And you won't learn as fast, you won't remember more. So one of the secrets to people learning faster and remembering more is them utilizing their whole brain. What brain? The whole brain. And we activate that brain by uses of messages, shapes, colors, balloons, music in the environment. Yes? Yes. Now, one of the other elements of accelerated learning is this element. We've talked about it before. What's it called, please? One more time, twice as loud. Thank you, participation. Why is the participation important? That's right. There's a native saying that says this. You want to take this to heart. And it pretty well says, what we hear, we tend to forget. What we see, we tend to remember. But what we do, we understand. Say that all with me. What we hear, we tend to forget. What we see, we tend to remember. What we do, we understand. How many people could buy into that? All right, very good.